Welcome to Astro-Weatherman. Hello, Weather Watchers, and welcome to another edition of Astro-Weatherman, where we study how the planets in our solar system affect weather patterns here on the Earth, an ancient science known as astrometeorology, the astrology of weather. All right, so welcome to another episode, and this video is going to be focusing on the last quarter moon period of January 2023. And the last quarter moon begins on Saturday, January the 14th, and it's going to go until Friday, January the 20th. Okay. And Mercury is still in retrograde until the 19th of this month. So don't be surprised if there's going to be some issues with technology. Maybe your cell phone's not working quite well. Maybe your computer's going through some funky things, or your car. Any appliance might give you a little bit of grief. Also, there could be some miscommunications that could happen. Maybe you've misunderstood somebody or somebody has misunderstood you. All of these are possible during Mercury retrograde, so we only have one more week left to go. Hopefully, it has not been affecting you that much, but if it has, it's done on the 19th, and just go with the flow. And then we'll go back to normal after the 19th. And again, it doesn't mean any of those things are not going to happen after the 19th. It just means that during a Mercury retrograde, these types of activities are stronger and more numerous than usual. All right. So if you don't want to watch the entire video, you can go to the description box below to the time frame, locate your country, and click on it, and it should take you to that part of the video. All right, without further ado, let's take a look to see what those planets are going to be doing to the weather in North America, Canada, the United States, and Mexico, the upcoming lunar week. Okay, let's start off with Western Canada, specifically BC. Now, this week we're going to add another little element to the forecasts called aspects. They're basically planetary connections. Planets make connections to one another, geometric connections, and these angles are very telling. They add a lot of information to planetary energy. And some of these angles are positive, and some of these angles are negative or more challenging. And so that definitely adds a new dynamic to weather. So I'll let you know which ones are going to be challenging, bad connections, or positive good connections. All right, let's begin. All right, so we're going to start here on the West Coast, and right now the moon is making a positive connection to Saturn, which actually can make it a very nice weather in that sense. And right now we also have Venus, which is going to be affecting BC right down here, and we're going to give it a negative rating. So we've got two planetary energies affecting BC. The one that is going to be dominant is going to be Venus. Unfortunately, yet again, that's this guy right here. All right, so if Venus is going to be negative, what you're going to see here is for especially the West Coast, you're going to see a lot more rain coming your way the entire lunar week. So I think, unfortunately, you can expect many rainy days, lots of cloudy days. Temperatures, however, with Venus are mild, so you shouldn't get too cold. That's why it'll be coming down as rain. Now, higher elevations and inland, especially towards central BC and eastern BC. I think you're going to see that moisture come down as snow. So prepare for that. It's going to be another wet weather week. Okay. Now let's go to Alberta. And Alberta's major planet affecting it is Saturn. And normally Saturn is a negative weather planet. But right now it's making a positive connection to the moon. So it is actually normally Saturn brings sort of doom and gloom with the weather. Um, uh, Especially when it's making difficult connections with other planets. But this time it's making a very positive one. So what's going to happen is Saturn then becomes not as cold, and it becomes milder, and it doesn't bring very much moisture. So we're going to give Saturn actually a green rating this time around um, because of the positive connection it's making. So Alberta looks like you guys, I think, is going to be temperatures will be on the mild side. I think it'll be seasonable, um, seasonal normal temperatures. I think moisture will be below average, so I don't think you're going to get much in the way of any moisture. If any moisture does come down, it would be very mild and very scattered, but I don't think there is. But we'll, and I think there'll be now normally, even though Saturn's making a positive connection, it's not exactly a sunny planet. So I think it'll be more cloudy days than sun. Um, so let's call it mostly cloudy to partly cloudy days. Um, uh, Maybe some partly sunny ones in between, and mild temperatures. So otherwise, I think a very nice week of weather for Alberta. All right, let's go to the Saskatchewan area as we move further east. Okay, now Saskatchewan, you've got two planets going through here, and it's going to be sort of a tail between two sections of the province. All right, so again, what we have here is planet Saturn down here to the southwestern regions, and Uranus up here in the more towards the eastern regions of the province. So out of the two dominant, this one is going to be a little trickier because what we see happening is we've got positive Saturn down here, which is going to bring some, oops, wrong function. Sorry about that. Which is going to bring some, I think, milder weather to most of Saskatchewan, I think, especially towards the western regions. But um, and not much in the way of moisture. So I think it'll be sort of more cloudy days, maybe some mix of sun and cloud, or mostly cloudy days. Temperatures should be milder, so near seasonable temperatures through that to basically this region of Saskatchewan. And the eastern sections, however, I think are going to get more of a mixed bag. Now, Uranus is typically not a great planet to begin with, weather-wise, and it's making a negative connection, a hard connection to the planet, to the planets in general this time around. So, Uranus is just going to be given a red rating here, and so I think we're going to go with a mixed weather situation with Uranus. I think as we move further east, we're going to see lots of a sort of a roller coaster of weather. We're going to see maybe some sunny days, and this will go into Manitoba as well. We're going to see some sunny days. I shouldn't say sunny, sort of mixed bag. So let's say a mix of sun and clouds to partly cloudy days. and with scattered flurries, scattered snow, and it'll just be up and down like that. Um, so just be aware that the weather's going to be a bit unstable for most of the week. All right. Temperatures, I think now it will be actually near normal, near seasonable, not too hot, not too cold. And why do I say that? Let's just go clear that. We'll move further here. And the reason I say that is because, um, okay, so we've got negative planet Uranus right here, which is cold and mixed weather. And then you've got normally Mars is positive. Problem is, right now it's making a negative, some negative connections to planets. So it's actually not going to be that great either. The difference is Mars is warmer. So with warm and cold fronts clashing, um, what's going to happen is we're going to see um, uh, I think temperatures in these regions. One moment here while I get the right function. I think, and if you're in between these sections right here, okay, I think the temperatures are going to be mild. So they're to seasonable. I think they'll be seasonable, so not too cold, but you're going to have turbulent atmosphere. So I think what's going to happen is you can see a mix of sun and clouds. You're going to see um, uh, to partly cloudy to mostly cloudy days with scattered flurries or snow, um, off and on throughout the week. So kind of a wintry week and a roller coaster that way. All right. So let's move to the other zones. So, that'll cover most of just coming back to this quickly. So that mixed bag influence. Why can't I get the Great Lakes to Mercury's retrograde right now? So there are some technical issues we have to work out every once in a while. Sorry about that. So basically Manitoba through most of Western Ontario. That's where that weather, um, uh, how that weather is going to manifest. Okay. So now we're getting to this section here, and this is going to cover pretty much most of Southern Ontario and a good chunk of Quebec. All right, so we have right now Mars is being negative because it's making some negative connections with planets. And Neptune, normally a bad weather planet, is actually making some positive connections for a change. So it's actually going to be a positive weather influence. So here we've got, Mars being negative, um, Mars being a bit bad this time around, and Pluto, oops, wrong color, not Pluto, sorry, Neptune being being good. So that gives us again, we have a bit of a clash between positive and negative. So this area is going to see mixed weather again, roller coaster. I think mostly cloudy to partly cloudy days with scattered snow and flurries throughout most of the week. So that's basically it. Temperatures, both Mars and Neptune, though, are milder. So I think the temperatures aren't going to be that cold. I think they're going to be seasonable to near normal temperatures. But there's going to be snow and flurries, and they're going to be scattered. So here and there and everywhere. So just be aware of that. All right, so another wintry week of weather. And then as we get into the Maritimes regions, we have a positive Neptune influence. And this Jupiter is normally positive influence, but right now it's making some difficult connections with other planets. So it's going to turn negative. Okay, so we've got good boy Neptune over here, and we've got um, Jupiter turning into a bit of a bad boy here. So, so again, if you're in between these zones, which is basically going to cover most of the Maritimes, you're going to have a mixed bag of weather, right? So um, you've got some good periods and bad periods. So I think most of the Maritimes, you're going to have mostly cloudy to partly cloudy days, maybe the odd sunny break here and there. You're going to have a lot of scattered snow or flurries. The one concern is um, with the one concern that we do have is with Jupiter actually in this time around. That's Jupiter right up here. And Jupiter is making a negative connection to Mercury, a very windy planet, and Jupiter in and of itself is very windy. So then we have to, there could be a danger zone where wind could, there could be some very strong winds that could come through. Um, during the week. So intermingled with snow and flurries, it could be blowing snow. So we might have to watch for that. And is there potential for blizzards? That's another possibility. Hopefully not, but we always have to add that in as a just in case. But otherwise, I think temperatures are going to be warmer, milder, so they're not going to be severely cold. So I think they're going to be about seasonable temperatures to near normal, but there will be scattered moisture. All right, that's it for Canada. Let's go down to the United States. Okay, USA. Let's start off with the West Coast. And we're going to start off with this gray line all the way to the west into the Pacific. And that is the positive moon right now. All right, so the moon is going to have a positive weather influence during this, let's make that line a little thicker, during this weather week. And so the closer you are to that gray line, all right, the nicer the weather is going to get for this upcoming week. Okay. Then we have negative Venus up here for weather. And the closer you are to that line, unfortunately, the worse the weather is going to get. All right, so I think for basically California, Nevada, especially, you guys are finally going to start to dry out. I think you're still going to have some moisture that's going to be coming in maybe towards the beginning part of the week, but I think the majority of the week you're going to have really, really nice weather for a change. Why? Because the moon is a reflector, and right now it's in the astrological sign of Libra. Now, Libra in astrometeorology is a very positive weather sign. It usually brings lots of sunshine, dry, pleasant weather. Not warm, it's cool, it'll be cool, but not cold. So cool weather with lots of sunshine and breezes. So that could help dry out some of that moisture that came, some of that heavy, heavy moisture that happened over the past weeks. Now, the further north you go into Washington State, Oregon, you're as Venus and the moon converge, Venus is the stronger of the two. So you guys are going to have more cloudy days and rain in lower elevations. So the rain's going to continue and showers and rain and snow in higher elevations. So no change there. Okay. And now let's look at this guy here. Now, Saturn is currently a positive weather influence as it's making a really good connection to some good connections to some planets this time around. And so wherever, as you get closer to the brown line, you're going to have more in the way of positive weather. The challenge, or I say the struggle here is that when you have a positive energy element with a negative weather element, you're going to have a roller coaster, so mixed weather. So a mix of sun and clouds to with scattered flurries and scattered snow can be expected. All right, so scattered moisture. And that is sort of and remember, it's going to be more in between these lines here. So we're going to have a bit of a positive weather influence from Saturn and a negative weather influence from Venus there. So in between these two lines, mixed bag weather. Now, as you get down here, okay, there's a sort of a dividing line that happens, and Venus bringing its negative influence of weather. And Uranus, of course, is not a great planet normally, and right now it's making negative aspects to some planets. So it is definitely on the more negative side of weather right now. So if you're in between these lines, you're going to see more of a negative weather pattern. So I think basically, if you're in this area here, you're going to experience, you're definitely going to have some moisture in southern areas, more rain, and then sort of mixed weather as well. So mix of sun and clouds, and scattered moisture. All right. So let's move further east. Okie dokie. So we've got positive Saturn right now here, and we've got so let's mark him in. All right, we'll mark him in there. And we've got negative Uranus, and right now, bad boy Mars. He's in a grumpy mood. So, um, let's mark these guys and then we'll get to the forecast. So right there and there. All right, now Uranus is just covering the northern regions, so it's not going to be so much of a player. Saturn, it's going to be more the interaction between Saturn and Mars. All right. And so Mars is going to be basically impacting with its negative influence, and Saturn is going to be influencing with its positive influence. So basically, you have the positive negative, that's mixed weather, roller coaster. Okay, so if you're in between these regions, I think temperatures are going to be mild. They're warmer to the south, and I think hotter to the south and seasonable to the north. So not severely cold. But there's going to be a mix of sun and clouds and scattered snow or flurries in the north, and a mix of sun and clouds and scattered showers or scattered rain in the south. I think because Mars is involved, likes to stir up the atmosphere with energy, that can bring thunder showers or thunder storms, scattered thunder showers or scattered thunder storms. Try to say that 10 times fast. In the south. And so that so mixed weather week, not bad, but not great. And there you go. All right. So let's move further east. All right. Here we go. Now we've got bad boy Saturn. And right now, being a good boy is Neptune. All right. So negative Mars and positive Neptune. All right. So what we have here is, let's first of all draw these out here. Um, all right. There's positive Neptune and negative Mars. All right. So again, if you're in between these two lines, you're going to have sort of a mixed weather pattern. So it's like the majority of the country is going to be in a mixed weather pattern, interestingly enough. So, all right, so you got, sort of if you're in between the Mars line and the Neptune line, there's going to be, good days and bad days, you know. So again, mix of sun and clouds with passing showers or thunder showers or thunderstorms to the south, to passing showers further inland, in midsections, and maybe some scattered mix of sun and clouds with scattered flurries or scattered snow. Temperatures, both of these planets are mild, so I think temperatures throughout these regions are going to be seasonable. Um, and the further south you go, the hotter it's going to get. All right. So overall, a really mixed weather throughout most of the country. So it should be interesting. So just prepare for a lot of everything this upcoming week. Okay, USA, we are done. All right, let's go on to Mexico. Okay, Mexico. Let's start on the far upper west corner of the country, okay, which is this section right here, the Baja Peninsula region. All right, so what planets are working with you guys? You've got negative weather Venus right there. And so I'm going to draw his little square, her little square up there. All right, and then right now we've got the positive weather moon, which is all the way down here. And the moon is going to be giving some nice dry weather. So we have sort of a mixed bag happening in the Baja California region. All right, so here's the thing. The further south you go, and the planets do shift their energy a little bit as we get closer to the equator. But the other thing we have to take into account is seasonality, as well as local, um, localized uh, climate into account. All right. So I think what's going to happen in Baja California Peninsula, you can see a lot more clouds than normal because of Venus. Moon is going to keep things dry. There might be a scattered shower or two, but I don't think so based on the location of this is going to be where the desert regions begin. So I think instead of showers, you're going to see clouds, more clouds that will roll in, maybe even fog banks that can happen. But I think that's it. I think the temperature is going to be seasonable for you guys. Um, and so seasonable normals, which is going to be pretty nice. And just many cloudy days throughout the week, maybe partly cloudy or mostly cloudy days with the sun peeking through. And that's about it. So I think generally it's going to be nice, nice week of weather that way. Okay. Now you have negative weather planet Uranus right there. And Just going to draw in his little square there. And so if you're basically in between, these lines here to there, I think, again, because this is more the deserty regions, we're just going to see mixed weather days. We're going to have periods of lots of sunshine and periods of clouds that roll in. Temperatures, I think, will be seasonable for you guys as well. So again, not bad. All right. Then, as we go further east, we've got positive weather Saturn for this period of time because of the nice connection it's making to some planets. And okay, so here we go. All right, so let's see. Let's draw in. So if you're in between, basically, um, these lines, okay, you're going to have some very positive weather from Saturn, but you're also going to have sort of more the negative weather influence from Uranus. And again, negative in these regions are not going to be that bad. I think it'll just get maybe, so first of all, temperatures I think are going to be cooler some days, but overall it will be near normal temperatures, seasonable. In terms of moisture, I don't see much moisture happening in these areas. The influence is going to be too dry. If anything, you'll have some mixed cloudy days, mix of sun and clouds, or mostly cloudy days, with periods of sunshine. Maybe some in the mountain areas, you might have some scattered showers, or thunder showers, but I think it's most likely most places are going to be drier than normal. So, yeah, I think overall a nice week of weather, generally speaking, just rolling clouds. It just depends whether the day is cloudier or sunnier, and that's about it. All right. Now, the further east we go, all right. All right, so we come back to positive weather Saturn, and I'll draw his little box. Oh, gotta make that a little bit bigger. There we go. And we've got right now negative weather Mars. And all right, we'll draw that box for Mars. All right. So here you see this mixed bag influence, right? So mixed weather influence. So if you're in between these lines, you're going to have the challenging weather from Mars, and you're going to have the more positive weather from Saturn at this point. So basically, in this region here, in the Yucatan Peninsula, you're going to have, again, mix of sun and clouds. It seems to be just the broken record for most of North America this week. Mix of sun and clouds with scattered showers and thunder showers. And temperatures will be, I think, seasonable. So it's not going to be extremely hot. It's not going to get cold. It's going to just be seasonal normal temperatures. Otherwise, not a bad week of weather, but you guys are going to have more in terms of the way scattered showers or thunderstorms. That'll be passing through every once in a while. But I think you'll still get plenty of sunshine rolling through. Okay, and that's it. That is Mexico. Okay, there you have it. The North America weather forecast for this last quarter moon period of January 2023. A really mixed weather week through most of the continent. Hmm. Anyways, it is what it is. So wherever you are, if you're experiencing good weather, which I hope you are, please go out and enjoy it. If you're experiencing bad weather, wherever you are, please take precautions, do the best to get through it, and take care. And that's it. If you really enjoy this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you want to be part of this channel. And hit the bell icon if you would like notifications as to when new videos are coming out. All right. Thank you so much all for watching, and I hope to see you again for the next video.